Hi guys, my name's Ellie, welcome to my channel, and today we are doing a palette focus on Sparkly Boy. This is the Tarte Pineapple of the Sea holiday palette. Technically it was like a bundle with some other stuff, but I didn't really care about that. It's mainly in it for the eyeshadows. I really want to kind of dig into like this one and the green, because I've got green and yellow, because it's spring, but we're having a bit of a little like cold backsplash thing, and so I need a layer, but I also want to wear my green because things, and my eyes are kind of finally getting back to normal. I went to the optometrist this morning to get my yearly checkup and everything, and of course they dilate your eyes, which you're like, oh yeah, that's fine, until you realize that like everything, you know, within the first 2 feet you can't see. So it makes doing your eye makeup kind of complicated. So I had to wait for that to go away, and you can see my eye color again, which is good. I am very tired. I have my very sheer foundation that didn't cover up this red zit thing. Yesterday was a weird day. It was a Friday, because it's Saturday. And we were at work, and like everybody at work was kind of just done with the week. So like people were like working and then like gossiping and then working and then like going off on weird tangents. Like I listened to I'm in a pretty open air cubicle type section. So our department is right next to like 2 other departments with like the PA team and some of the pharmacists, because I am medical billing, more specifically DMR, direct member reimbursement, and Medicaid claims processing. Also, I have my hair up for once. I did a thing. I attempted a thing. It looks kind of weird here, but it looked fine in person. So that's eyeshadow primer on. Then I'm just going to do all my little base stuff before we get into the palette for a palette focus. But yeah, so I can hear them talking about stuff, and like sometimes it's stuff that pertains to my department, and sometimes it's just stuff. Because I listen to my headphones sometimes, but not all the time, because sometimes I just want to know what's going on. Sometimes there's office drama that in no way affects me or is anybody I know, because I'm still new, but I like to listen because nosy. So that was happening. I listened to a whole long back and forth about stuff that they're working with in the department, and they had like their supervisor had a meeting with somebody else talking about different ways they can integrate, and I heard a whole bunch of stuff that I'm never going to use because I don't work that way with either of those departments, but now I know. So that was weird. People were just kind of throughout the day getting less and less invested in working, and I thought I'd signed up for a thing. I was supposed to start volunteering with Planned Parenthood. I went to the orientation, got all the stuff done, gave them all my contact number, and signed up for a couple events. And I was pretty sure I'd signed up for a condom crawl. So they were going to assign us areas, like little districts. So like in St. Louis, like somebody might do downtown, somebody might do Soulard, somebody might do the Grove type thing. And then you were basically just going to bar hop with a bunch of condoms and give out the free condoms to people, just so everybody who's going home together or on their own to somebody else can have some nice safe sex. Which I thought that was really cool, and I was like, okay, sure, yeah. I've been feeling kind of social lately. I don't go to bars very much, but every once in a while, something lines up with an urge to go out and be social and drink with strangers. And that was kind of the thing, so I signed up for it, or at least I thought I did. And then I waited. And that was like a week and a half before the event was supposed to happen. It was supposed to happen last night. And I don't know if they didn't get my contact information right, or if I signed the wrong sheet maybe, or if they just decided they had enough people and didn't need as many as had signed up, because I never got an email or a text or a call So I had it in my head that I was doing something last night, something social and out and about, and I'd kind of talked to my friend Caitlin about it because I had no idea what the actual setup for the plane was. I didn't know if they were going to send us with a group of people, if it was just going to be like, here's a box, you know, go out and mingle on your own. And I didn't really want to go to a bunch of bars by myself and then get really friendly with strangers. It probably could have been fine, but every once in a while I just get nervous or panicky. Being like, oh my god, I'm going to be that weird, you know, almost 30-year-old strange woman walking into bars, throwing condoms at people, and running away. Which has the option to be, you know, like a fun, weird thing, or to be like a, oh my god, who is that? Moment. And then taking my little satin highlighting shade for my brow bone. So I'd kind of like shot a couple messages around to see who was available so like we could make it like a group thing, go out as a group, chuck some condoms at people, and then some of my more single friends could also then be out and about in bars talking to people and having an excuse to potentially talk to cute boys and make them friends. Because nobody knows how to just... You need like a reason now. Because at least in my perspective and history, most women don't just like walking up to strangers and be like, hey, you single? We like to be like, hey, I'm the blah 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 doing a thing, and then like if you get the good vibe you can keep talking. But we like to have a reason first. And that was going to be a good reason. But anyway, I never got any response, but I had it in my head that I was doing something, and I talked to Caitlin, and she was off that night. She's like, nothing's happening. And then she remembered that the drive-in had opened back up because weather. So she pulled it up, looked at what was playing, and then we decided we were going to the drive-in, which was a lot of fun. We're not super good at coordinating it. I think I want to go on with this guy. He should be Starfruit in my crease. I'm thinking warm with like a golden green will match this. So let's start with Starfruit. Oh, I forgot how powdery these are. So, pigmented. I don't know if you can see that, but oh, that's a lot. I hope you can see that fallout. Luckily, or at least hopefully luckily, I set my under eyes with extra powder in case I needed to sweep stuff away, because I just do that in general. I got a little bit. So yeah, it was kind of a like middle of the day we realized we wanted to go to the drive-in. We had to discuss which screen we were going to see because screen 1 and screen 2 show different things. But it is nice. Like, I haven't gone to the drive-in since high school, which was always like me and like some friends that actually had boyfriends, and whoever's boyfriend had a truck would take a bunch of us so we could sit in the back of the truck. I didn't date in high school, so I never had a boyfriend with a truck or my own truck. So it was always kind of like couples and like me, maybe one other single person, and I'd be like, yeah, a movie, and everybody else was just like making out, but trying to be discreet about it because, you know, high school kids who are nervous. I'm going to take that same shadow on my lower lash line. So yeah, I was like, I haven't been to the drive-in in a long time because I currently don't have... My brain says that you need like a truck or like something with a nice big open bed that you can sit in while watching the movie. That is not the case. That is not the setup or anything. Like, you can do it with a car. You can drive in anything you want, pull some chairs out and watch it. It's fine. But my brain said you needed a truck, which is why we hadn't gone back, because I don't have a truck and my boyfriend doesn't have a truck. But we went back and forth on which screen we wanted to watch and all that stuff, and then kind of both forgot a bunch of stuff that we might need for it, because I've never been in charge of planning it because I never had the truck. So, and then we were also trying to go to There's some radio people here on a show on the point, and somebody lost some type of bet, and he had to make a ridiculous calendar, and they were doing a release party in a bar near my friend's work. Let me see if I can get this little corner blended a little bit better. And she wanted to go get a copy, and they were kind of, she's like, I think I can get off work a little early, I think we can get up there. We did. We realized how long the line was, and that we still had to go home, let her dog out, gather all the stuff, grab stuff from Target on the way there, get there with enough time to get a spot and set up, and then watch the movies. And it's a bit of a drive, like a 20-minute drive, I think, or 30. I don't know. I didn't drive. I wasn't in charge of that part of the planning because we were going in her car. So we had to get out there with enough time to get a spot and all these things, and it was a lot. I think I'm going to go in with this one, which in theory is Packing List or Summer Share. This matte darker brown in my outer edge. So yeah, while we were in line, we realized how long it was going to take and that the line wasn't moving very fast, and that she, wanted the calendar, but that, like, they might release it online and she could just get it there, and if they didn't, it wouldn't be like the end of the world. So we skipped out on that to go do all our stuff. Grabbed her dog, grabbed some snacks, grabbed some sandwiches on the way for dinner. Had a lot of fun. But I also forgot that the drive-in shows double features. And whichever screen we got, because there was one that was showing Hellboy and Cold Pursuit, which was my interest. And the other one was showing Shazam and Aquaman, because I've already seen Aquaman, and I at the time was not that interested in Shazam. I hadn't really looked at the trailers, but I knew it was kind of a little bit more, I thought it was going to be more kid-centric, because it's a kid getting superpowers and they were going to make a lot of jokes. So I hadn't really looked into it. I didn't think it was going to be my cup of tea. But she was more interested in that, and she hadn't seen Aquaman. So we kind of went back and forth, and I showed her, I wanted to see the new Hellboy, and I've been wanting to see Cold Pursuit. But I looked up a trailer for Shazam to get a better idea. Turns out it looks actually pretty interesting. And I was like, I'm not opposed to seeing Aquaman again. So we did that screen. And since it wasn't something where like, hey, we're here for, the first movie, we don't give a fuck about the second one, she wanted to see both ones. We had to stay late. Well, not late. As late as seeing both movies takes, because you show up. I want to say they open up parking around 7. The movie starts playing at 8. And, like, my initial math is like, okay, movie's like an hour and a half. That is not true anymore. Things are much longer because they're trying to make everything longer, especially superhero movies. 2 superhero movies is going to take longer. And they have to take a break in between for just general intermission, getting up and walking around, getting snacks. And if the movies on screen 1 have different run times than the movies on screen 2, you have to at least match the first ones. So if screen 1 ends, 20 minutes or 10 minutes or something before screen 2, you want the intermission time to match up. So you then have to hold the second movie on the shorter one to match up with the start of the second movie on the second one. It's a whole thing. So that was happening. So we got the base down. I wanted to put this in, which I want to say, oh god, pool service? This green? I'm really bad at interpreting the back flap that has, which direction you're supposed to interpret it as. Which we've talked about that, but I'm still bad at it. So let's hope I got it right, and we will just move forwards. Where's the brush I want? It no longer exists. Fine, we'll use this one. This little packy brush. And we'll take that green on the outer half and just pack it on. So yeah, I always think, I'm like, oh yeah, movie's an hour and a half, which has not been the norm, especially with superhero movies lately. They've been leaning longer and longer, which I do also appreciate because I like them having more time to get into more details. The movies feel less rushed. It gives you more time to really establish the character, give them the powers, let them adjust to the powers, have a problem, fix the problem. As opposed to just like kapow, barely even introducing the character and then immediately having them deal with powers which you don't know how they're going to react to because you haven't set up the character on their own without the powers yet. It's a whole big thing. So those have been leaning longer. And I was like, okay, so yeah, we'll be leaving like 11. We'll get back. It's whatever. I don't think we left there until after midnight. Between the intermission and the longer movies, and it was a lot. It was fun, though. We learned some things, because we took her Jeep, which we're going to do it differently next time. Apparently she can both, because I knew she could take the top off, she can also pop out the windshield. So in theory, we could have just pointed nose in and taken all that down if we'd thought about it. Because she backed in, and then we took off part of the back and, like, hung out in the bed. But the bed's not super comfortable. And we didn't bring, like, any pillows or inflatables. We brought blankets because it was kind of cold. Which, it got colder as the sun went down. We didn't think about that. Yeah. And when you lie down, there's all sorts of sharp bits that you don't think about until your squishy legs are on it. So I have several weird bruises from trying to negotiate that. And since we brought her dog, we're both trying to squeeze in to her back, the back of her Jeep, without, like, snuggling too much, because I actually could have. We've snuggled in the past, but we just didn't. That would have been better for the cold. I'm gonna text her that we need to snuggle next time if it's gonna be that cold. But then her poor dog's trying to find some space to lie down as well, and we keep moving around because, you know, you sit down and then your butt falls asleep, and then you try a different position and that falls asleep, and then you lie down and that takes up so much more space, and it was a lot. But yeah, so we didn't leave there until after midnight, and then we had to, like, pack up and do all this stuff, and then she had to get me home, and then I still had to get ready for bed, and then I had an optometrist appointment at 9 in the morning. And the people who have now left, but they were outside putting the roof on the garage, started right around 8. Which, technically that's when I was aiming to get up, but I was just still not happy to wake up to air compressors and hammers, and who the fuck does construction on Saturday? Because, like, we talked about it. I didn't know ahead of time, but I did talk to my dad about it. And he was like, yeah, this is the reasoning. And I'm like, I understand you're trying to get this thing done, but why? Why, if you were a construction person, would you want to put in work 8 in the morning on a Saturday? I don't know. So we're going to go in with, pretty sure this is mimosa. And then maybe a little bit of mango? Maybe. These two ones. I'm wondering if mango on, like, the center will help, because this seems... Oh, that's actually quite nice. I thought it was going to be a little lighter than I wanted, which it is, but it's a little more peachy than, like, yellow gold. But anyway, so then I went to my person to do my yearly eye checkup, and they dilated, and that's very weird. And I spent the rest of the morning trying to find different ways to take footage and pictures of it, because it's cool looking, and I want pictures of how ridiculous my eyes look with the pupils blown way the fuck out. But because you can't focus on anything this, within the first couple of feet, because your eyes can't constrict to do that, it's really hard to check if you've gotten a good photo or anything up close. It's very frustrating. And of course, my sister picked today to go to the zoo and asked me, hey, you want to go to the zoo? I'm literally walking out the door for a doctor's appointment. I would like to go to the zoo. So that reminds me, I want to go back to the zoo more. I want to go to the botanical gardens more. and we passed Cahokia Mounds on the way to the drive-in because it's over on the Illinois side. And it reminds me, I wanted to go back to there because I haven't... My brain is not the best about consistency. I have a very good imagination, and sometimes if my brain decides it doesn't like something, it will make up a very, very realistic alternative to it. So, like, when I was a kid, we had some flooding in the basement. And I don't know if I had a dream or if I just liked the idea of it better, but I completely switched this memory from there being a couple inches of water in the basement to it, like, flooding 4 feet up, us getting, like, these plastic sleds that we had from the winter, and, like, using them like rafts and kind of just, like, floating around the basement. Did not happen. But, like, later as I was older, I was telling my mom about that time, and she's like, you remember the time the basement flooded? And I was like, yeah, it was so cool. We did this thing, and we were, like, using the sleds like rafts. And she's like, no. You might have remembered, like, splashing around a couple inches of water, but it didn't get above that. And I'm like, I had this idea of, like, several feet in this thing, and I have this very vivid memory. It's most likely a dream, or my brain just elaborating on stuff. So, getting back to the point of that excursion, I have a memory of being at Cahokia Mounds and, like, kind of walking around the inside of a museum with some stuff about the local Native American tribe who, you know, made the mounds. And I remember fog and, like, a shit ton of steps and, like, trying to go up the steps with, I want to say my Aunt Susan, but I don't remember. And this also could be a false memory that I'm just making. I am not 100% sure I've ever actually been to Cahokia Mounds, because my memory is not reliable, apparently, especially anything like that I don't have more details in the noggin. It could be that we went and I don't remember, so my brain made up details based on things other people said, or it could be that I know there are steps and there's probably a museum, and my brain just made up bits assuming I've been there. Anyway, I would like to go back and actually retain some of it and be sure that I am remembering the right pieces. So, I want to go, and every time we go out that way, I'm like, Cahokia Mounds! And I tell whoever I'm with that I want to go, and then we don't go. So, I need to go to Cahokia Mounds. I think I want to dick around with this guy. This bluey-purple duochrome called Ocean Air. I'm hoping we'll get more of the blue and get, like, some stuff happening. And I want to kind of smudge that on my lower lash line with this brush and hope for the best. That's not doing much. So we're going into the green. Also not doing that much. Like, besides some darkening, it's not showing up a ton. We'll keep doing it though, and we'll match the other side. So yeah, we had a nice talk on the way back about feeling like we've both been to Cahokia Mounds, but not having, like, clear memories of it. Other than my weird made-up one that might be not real. So we need to find a day to go do that. I am considering doing some videos that would be less makeup related, more... Oh, I got powder in my eye. They also put numbing drops in your eyes so that they can do the pressure test, which I don't know if those are still working or not, so I might be able to, like... That also makes putting your contacts in when they give you the new contacts really weird, because you can't feel your eye, but you know you're supposed to be able to feel your eye because you're touching it. I do want to go in with this pretty one, which is probably Coastal. We're assuming it's Coastal. I'm gonna use this guy. But, a couple weeks ago, Caitlin saw a thing that was a contest to win, kind of paid travel to different places. And one of the ways of entering was to make a little video about why your hometown is cool. Or just like different things about your hometown, which our hometown is St. Louis, because we both grew up here. And we were talking about it, and we were kind of doing the logistics of trying to film, edit, and submit the video in like 2 days based on her working her jobs and me trying to do all the stuff I already had planned. And we kind of, while doing it, realized we wouldn't be able to do the trips because the trips are like 3 weeks plus, and neither of us could take that much time off work. And it's not like we're going to quit our jobs to go on a paid vacation where the pay is less than what we're making, so we wouldn't even necessarily be able to like support what we've got going on at home off of this and then find a job later, which we both got jobs we enjoy decently. So it's not really worth it to quit our jobs for a vacation. So we didn't end up doing the contest or anything, but it did kind of get me on the mindset of I kind of want to do some little videos about places around St. Louis that I like a lot. So like, if you're interested in coming to St. Louis and you want to know about some place like Cahokia Mounds or like the Botanical Gardens or the zoo, and you want like some first-hand footage of the things or like the best places to go, because these are, at least Botanical Gardens and the zoo and stuff, are places I've been going since I was a kid. I have favorite secret places that like I found some point a long time ago and I always have to go back to the place. And they're cool. Because my mom is in an orchestra and they did and or still do, I don't know if they still do, they used to do concerts at the zoo, so we would get to go in after most of the people had left, because they would kind of close everybody out, and then people who had tickets to the concert could go into the zoo. And most people were staying and sitting and watching the cellists and, you know, the whole orchestra and everything, because it's more than just cellists. But us being small children, and that's, you know, that's just mom. We were running around and exploring as long as we could still hear the instruments, we were good. So we got to do a whole bunch of, like, seeing different parts of the zoo that you don't normally see because there's too many people in the way, you don't think about it, like, cool stuff. So I have some places that I like, and I don't know, like, I'm probably going to do them anyway, but if you have a place you'd like to see, or a place that you, if you're also from St. Louis, if you have a place that you think we should go and check out, that maybe I don't go to Grant's Farm a ton, but I'd be interested in going there. We did mainly the zoo and Botanical Gardens are like the two places we went a lot. Because we like the outdoors, and because the zoo's free, most of the zoo is free all the time. And the Botanical Gardens, you know, my mom was a stay-at-home mom when we were kids, and so it was like the summer or something, she had us, if you go before certain times on certain days, things were free, and that was really convenient for, you know, a single parent income house with 4 children, because I am one of 4. Trying to pay for 4 kids and an adult to go in someplace multiple times, because we're going to want to come back places because we're kids and we like it. We want to say, oh, let's go back, blah, blah, and then whine about it because we don't understand money or costs. Free places were great. And I like to suggest free places because if you don't enjoy it, at least you didn't spend money on it. If you go somewhere and it's like medium to meh, but it was free, at least it was free. Yeah. The drive-in's not free. It's not expensive. The tickets for the one we went to were $11. So, like, you have to factor in gas, getting out there. You'll probably buy food, and you'll be there a while. And you might have to buy other stuff. Like, we bought a boombox because you have to run the sound through something, but they don't, you know, not everybody wants to run their car speakers the whole time, and you're not supposed to have your car on, because the exhaust, it's a whole thing. But if you already have everything, like if you're going regularly, $11 for 2 movies is not bad. Especially because they're generally pretty current. Shazam's newish. Pretty new. Aquaman has already been out for rent, that's how I've already seen it. But like Hellboy and Cold Pursuit, I would have been up for seeing those. I might go back to see those. Because Cold Pursuit looks really fun. It kind of looks like bits of Taken mashed up with Fargo. And I am into those. But my eye makeup is done. I don't necessarily think it matches what I had in mind, but it's still pretty. My pupils seem to be... Oh, you can kind of see. One's constricting properly, one's still a little big. So, we're getting there. I'm gonna go finish up the rest of my face, and I will be back. Finished look. I like it. I did something with my nose that I'm still deciding on. I put both blush and my highlighter on the tip of my nose. I think it works. We'll decide. Who knows? Yeah. So, hair, you can kind of see that I did a partial updo thing. I used to do a bunch of these when I was a kid, and by that I mean my mom did them, and I'm still figuring out how to do that. Because I feel like now that my hair's long, I can actually do things with it, but I don't remember how to do anything with my hair. So, yeah. I'm gonna go. The drive-in was fun. I liked Shazam. I liked Shazam a lot. I still enjoyed Aquaman. It's not like the best quality, but I enjoyed Jason Momoa. I had fun. I had a Kraken, or a Kraken. The Kraken. But yeah, I have to finish up, go pack, because the boyfriend and I are taking Sadie to a dog park, which will be fun. Maybe I'll have some footage to throw in here. Maybe I'll entirely forget. But that's why the hair's up, is I know he likes to have the windows down for Sadie to enjoy the ride, and that will fuck up my hair. So, hair's back, kind of. The bottom bits aren't as problematic. Yeah, this is the look. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time.